Hi there, I'm David Monier-Williams, the author of VIP Breakthrough Coaching. Today we're going to discuss and demonstrate self-concept. So, what is self-concept? Self-concept is really nothing more than how we think about ourselves at the deepest level. It's made up of values which lead to beliefs, and our underlying identity of who we are at the deepest level without all this nonsense. Values are generalizations of important experiences that we've had in our lives that lead to beliefs, but also have underlying the ethics and morals of our lives. And they come in two varieties: the secular humanist atheist and the spiritual religious. The former with relative morals and the latter with absolute. I won't get into the details at this point, it's not important. But with these values installed, we now have purpose and fulfillment in our lives. The problem comes is that our values are not our own in most cases. They come from our family, they come from our siblings, our church, our society, our culture, our government, and even the company that you work for. So it's important to have one's own values. And today, using my client Marcus, we're going to get into his unique values, which when installed into his self-concept and where they become him, also with that comes a permanent installation of motivation. You never have to have motivation again. It is always with you. This is the most important piece of your life. It is a game changer. And everybody is entitled to their own unique self-concept. All you have to do is send me a message on LinkedIn. We'll have a little Zoom conversation and come up with the program for you specially, so you can operate at maximum potential with your own built-in motivation in your self-concept. Okay, Marcus, now we're going to deal with family life. Okay, so in family life, what do you want?
It's probably the same with many. And, through our work, I just realized what is really important for me is having safe space.
Okay.
That is definitely the ultimate goal, having a safe space.
So let's ask the old question. If you had safe space, what have you got? How do you know you got it? What are you going to see, feel, and hear differently than you are now, where you don't have a safe space?
The biggest difference is I have the courage to be myself.
Okay.
To express how I feel, to be true to myself, which connects again with what I said when we talked about career. I say no when I feel no, and I say yes when I feel yes.
Okay.
And you're familiar with the term of letting down my hair.
Sure.
And I believe this is a very important part, which I realize as well with my clients, that they can lower their hair.
Yeah.
Like having this safe space. Yeah, I can just tell, like how is it possible? You know that from your own work. How is it possible to provide someone a safe space if you don't have that in you?
Yeah.
So I believe it comes pretty much down to that I think it's more like a feeling, a safe space, and what comes from it in terms of being able to express yourself freely.
Yep.
Showing your vulnerability, which is very rare today in this world, that you actually even find a space where you can be vulnerable. And you know what I mean from working with me. I want to be vulnerable. It's actually interesting. I hear that often from women. They say, "Look, just hear me out. Just listen to me. Just hear how I feel." Without trying to fix me, without trying to bring solutions to my problems. And I believe that's actually pretty much for me as well. Safe space means I can just express how I'm feeling, and the other person doesn't feel obliged to jump into solution mode immediately or provide me with solutions or help or remedies. I
So,
literally can't just be me.
so it's a feeling also of being validated.
Yes, very much so. Yeah,
So
that sums it up.
so it's not about solutions, it's about being validated as a human being, which also means, guess what? Self concept.
Yes. Yes.
Sure. Absolutely. Excellent. Well, let's take a look at some of the values
Mhm.
that you have that
Mhm.
will comprise your own unique self concept.
Mhm.
So, what's important about safe space?
That I feel accepted. And I think it has to do with the validation part.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Accepted.
And so, what's important about being accepted?
And I feel I'm acknowledged.
Yeah, yeah. Being
Let's
accepted
just
and
take
being
some notes
acknowledged is
here.
being validated, of course, a part of it, at
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
important
Let
part.
me just take here some notes. So the
Sure.
acknowledge. Yeah. And the acknowledged part
So, what's important about being acknowledged?
in terms of family life. I'm torn between two.
Okay.
One of them is, yeah, maybe you can help me. One of them is emotional connection that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And the other one is trust.
Okay.
Which one would you say comes first? Let's go with trust. My intuition says trust.
So, trust and then emotional connection.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
and what's important about emotional connection?
It's an easy one. And I believe that's something so many people claim and wish for, and it's intimacy.
Okay. Yeah, certainly intimacy is, and that goes well beyond the physical.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It includes it, but
Yeah.
it well beyond that.
Yeah.
It's it's the feeling of having a safe space for the two of you interact.
Yeah. Because you
Now,
can tell I now switched from family of a bigger context into my marriage. You know, with
well,
my wife, the one who's the closest to me.
sure,
Um, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and to a slightly, obviously, to a slightly lesser extent, to friends who are very close friends.
correct. Yes,
It's degrees of intimacy,
yes,
obviously. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So, what's important about intimacy?
I believe intimacy is the prerequisite for mutual growth,
Okay.
which I believe is the missing piece in most relationships and marriages.
Yeah, because usually at different times, one or other of the partners grow faster and more quickly and differently than the other.
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that intimacy becomes even more important.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. So, lastly,
Love.
that love. Yeah, of course. Okay. All right. So, again, here is where the limiting beliefs, if you had them, would be changed and added to your values.
Yeah.
So, now let's put those values that you've got in a hierarchical order.
Okay. Let me just have a look at it.
I know that love is your first one, but that I know.
Yeah, here it's actually easy. We can just flip it. So 2 is mutual growth,
Yeah, that intimacy.
3 is intimacy, then emotional connection,
Yeah,
acknowledgement, and acceptance.
okay, good. That's fine. So now what we need to do is to create that vision. Are you going to keep it as a sphere or do you want to change it to something else? You like the sphere. Okay, that's cool.
That's my symbol. Okay, I'm there.
All right, so love is a heart.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And mutual growth.
How do you call it? It's a grain. The little thingy, when from of a grain.
Okay. What do you
I
do
go
with it?
I go outside and there is a huge field, a field
Yeah.
of grain. How do you call that?
Uh,
Let me just
you,
look it up for
are you talking about a sheath?
Let me just check it here. Um,
I think that's what it was.
yes, that's what it is.
Okay. SHEAF.
Yes. Okay.
All right. And intimacy.
That's an easy one. That's a couple.
Okay. And emotional connection.
That's my favorite. It's a dual flame.
Dual flame. Okay. And trust.
The lock.
And acknowledgement.
Mirror.
And acceptance.
Open hands.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is a beautiful image. Open hands. It's actually interesting going through those values. You almost automatically start seeing the symbol.
Okay.
And once again, that's only possible if you went through the resistance. Because
That's
the symbol won't appear if the resistance comes.
no, that's right. It's interesting. It's interesting that you're beginning to get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's a process that is really self-explanatory.
Yeah. Certainly is. Yeah.
So now what I want you to do is to step into it.
Okay.
And what are you aware of it now that you've stepped into it?
I feel supported.
I beg your pardon?
I feel supported.
Okay.
I feel safe.
Okay.
I feel loved.
Okay.
Mostly, I feel understood and accepted. And it literally feels like if I consider that my partner is the dual flame, which he is, uh, it's actually an interesting image I just have of a knight who is preparing himself to go into battle or on a crusade or on a journey into faraway lands. And this literally like enables me to go there with courage, with assurance, with confidence. And I believe it wouldn't be possible without the safe space we've just created.
Okay. Good.
Beautiful.
All right. So now what we need to do is add Christ to that. And notice what you noticed then.
Beautiful image. Considering that I'm the knight, Knight Marcus from blah blah blah. My partner, sends me away with her love and everything else. And when Christ stepped into it, it felt like I got a companion. And I think it could actually be even someone who is just spiritual and does not really connect with Christ so much, because I'm always trying to mix these two images. I received a companion. It's almost like a travel companion.
Okay. There's no reason why it couldn't be Christ.
No, it can be Christ, absolutely. But as you know, I'm always a little split between, the Christian thing and the spiritual things. I'm trying to find a middle ground, and absolutely, it is Christ. I can tell that. But having it as a travel companion really feels great.
Who what?
And as a travel companion, knowing that I am not alone when I go into battle.
Yeah.
And I travel to far lands, And the other thing which came deep in was that seal of approval.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you also have the feeling of being unstoppable as well, or not?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes from believing to knowing again. Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Anything else?
No, but I can feel something coming when I picture the ideal self to be added and then Christ.
Yeah. Well, let's take it one at a time. Okay.
Well, that's it with Christ.
All right. Okay. So now we need to, at a distance, have another sphere with the values in there and the ideal self. So what's that like just with the ideal self?
It's an amazing feeling.
Okay.
What I just saw is the three-dimensional objects, they became alive.
So the sphere came alive.
Yeah, and the parts in the sphere came alive. So the heart became a burning heart.
So the heart of love.
Yes. the
But
sheaf of grain became real.
okay,
The intimacy part, the couple became alive. So I see two individuals dancing.
okay,
The intimacy part, as you can imagine, the emotional connection, the dual flame. How do you call it? Like when it becomes alive.
okay. Let me give you another analogy, which
Okay.
might help improve, if not, it may not.
Sure,
There's,
please.
there are two statues made of metal. I
Okay.
mean, they're like 40 feet tall,
Okay.
one male, one female. And over the course of the hour, they move closer together. And as they get close, the metal is horizontal strips, if you will, open up sufficiently that the two meld and become one statue.
Okay. That does not totally resonate with me because it's not alive.
Well, you could make it alive.
Yeah, I believe it actually has to do with the couple, with the intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the couple, it's the intimacy, but at the same time, the couple are two flames. And
Yeah.
the two flames I see intertwined with each other. That's the dual flame.
Yeah. They are separate but one.
Yes, and I can literally see, how do you call it if the flames are alive?
Blazing.
Yeah, blazing, exactly. Like I literally see the dual flame blazing together, which is
Good.
amazing. Yes.
Okay. That's great. So now we have the three images. We have yourself with Christ. You have the opposite you is the sphere alive with Christ and the ideal self. And
And we add Christ to it, right?
in the middle, you have safe space.
Have we added Christ already to the ideal one?
So, yeah, we put Christ into the ideal one.
Okay. Have we done that already? Are you sure?
No, I beg your pardon. I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, so put Christ in there.
Okay, yeah, I think it's an important part.
Yes, of course. So how does that change the blazing flame and or any of the other alive parts?
It literally comes to the same thing. The seal of approval, what comes through Christ, makes it from believing to knowing.
Yeah.
From wishful thinking, at a point where you say in the ideal self, wow, would it be amazing? Hopefully it's not being taken away from me, to no, it actually is.
Right.
Like literally the seal of approval, which makes it real.
Yeah.
I believe that's something which really summarizes everything I've been doing with you so far, is from believing to knowing.
Yeah.
And that's what that Christ part definitely is.
That's the right part. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got the Christ part in both pieces, both spheres.
Yeah.
In the middle, you've got another sphere. It's called self-space, safe space. Now what happens?
It's very calm.
I'm sorry, calm. Oh, okay.
It's calm.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's very energized. And I can tell that all my parts become alive. Like I'm not holding back anything. And I can tell that I'm in a safe space.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
And now take that whole experience inside of yourself and tell me what that's like,
Mhm.
what you're aware of.
It's so interesting. Remember when I told you the image I had of the dressmaker in Italy, where
Yeah,
you stand on that little podium
right.
and the master walks around you and makes the fitting about everything? Now it actually became even more evident because I received the two arms and both of them became second nature. And now what happened is the family part, the safe space, is like the middle part. It's almost like the front and the back and the sides.
Yeah, so the torso.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes.
So you have the master tailor.
Absolutely. I can tell that. Like, there's no joke about that.
So who is the master tailor?
Buff.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything
So
else you'd like?
how would you explain, as you know, I deal a lot with people who do not really believe in Christ. How would you explain that master tailor to someone who, let's say, is spiritual but cannot identify with the concept of Christ? How would you explain that?
Oh, very simple. I would ask them to visualize it in human form, whatever that is for them.
Like literally a master tailor.
Yeah,
Got it.
whatever they want to represent it as. If they say higher power, supreme being,
I see. Got it.
so
Yeah.
what works for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah. But it feels awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. And the one thing, by the way, I received as well is a helmet,
Oh, okay.
which is important.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I can tell family safe space is, the head is an extremely sensitive part. I would say as well in terms of thoughts, emotions, and I
Yeah.
believe that's why the helmet came here as well with the torso. So
So
the upper body is protected.
okay, so you've got the torso plus helmet.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that sort of wraps up this one.